Over the past few years, people have been really attracted to large family SUVs and have forgotten all about minivans. Kia wants to change that, so today we have the latest 2024 Kia Carnival SX Prestige. So 2 years later, is this still good enough to beat the competition, and should you get this instead of the 2025 model? Let's go ahead and find out. As always, let's start out with the pricing and trim level. The Carnival for 2024 still has about 5 trim levels, the LX starting at $36,000 and the top SX Prestige starting at about $47,000. That is what we have today, the SX Prestige. We have quite a few options, so today's price is going to ring in at about $52,000. Let's see what you get for the money. Starting out with the exterior, you're going to find this really interesting grille that looks like it has a bunch of floating rectangles and a functional vent down here. The headlights are going to have a very unique design. So first of all, you get an LED daytime running lamp, a projector style LED headlamp, and you also get this really cool turn signal that comes with this interesting shape. Usually it doesn't come like this, so you can see that Kia is making an effort to stand out. Moving around to the side, you're going to find these gloss black 19-inch alloy wheels. I think they look quite good against the side of this car, especially because this particular model is black. Let me know what you guys think of gloss black wheels on a minivan. Moving on to the side, you're going to find this chrome strip at the very bottom and another 3D piece of chrome right here. There is also an exposed track for the sliding doors. And yes, of course, the Carnival being a minivan has to have the power sliding doors. The mirrors will be fully loaded with heating, blind spot monitoring, auto dimming, and power folding. Moving around to the back, you'll get a light bar that goes all the way across with the new K backwards N logo and a piece of chrome down below. As far as the lighting is concerned, you get an LED brake light and an LED accent light. However, you get an incandescent reverse light and an incandescent turn signal. I feel like they could have integrated it with the light bar, but I guess it is okay the way it is. But now let's move on to the interior and see what the top SX Prestige model is going to get you. The interior is arguably the most important part of a minivan, so let's go ahead and get into that. Starting on the door, you have some soft touch material on the upper part. You got leather on your armrest, a lot of gloss black around the window switches, and down below there is a good amount of storage. By the way, this is what your key fob looks like. Getting inside is pretty easy. And once you get inside, you will see this very nice leather wrapped steering wheel. The steering feel feels pretty light, and this leather is very, very high quality. Exclusive to the SX Prestige is this fully digital gauge cluster. So you got the little Carnival in the center. There actually isn't that much customization considering that this is a full digital cluster. I do like the graphics though. As far as the materials go, they're actually pretty good on this SX Prestige. You get leather right up here, you get the same aluminum trim that you saw on the outside, a ton of gloss black through this area, which might not be the best idea in a minivan, and this aluminum on your toggles. Storage is actually not too good considering that this is a minivan. A lot of the competition like the Toyota Sienna and the Chrysler Pacifica will be a little bit better in this area. So you get a storage area right here. You get 2 cup holders. This is actually a phone holder. This tester has napkins in it. On the passenger side, you'll find a cubby. There's another cubby right here. And then when you lift up the center console, there is a good amount of space. It's not class fleeting, but it's still usable. As far as the climate controls go, they'll all be located in this area right here. They're very easy to use, and all of your information will pop up in this little screen right here. So you do have 3-zone climate control on every Kia Carnival. You can control your fan speed right here. And then that you can raise and lower that. Also, this is your airflow, AC controls, and you can control the rear climate. So I think it is pretty easy to use, and you can use the infotainment system if you want to. Speaking of the infotainment system, this is a very interesting area in the Kia Carnival. So I wish that they had little widgets like in the Sienna and Pacifica, where you have like who's on the phone, the music playing, the navigation. So I feel like that could have been thought out a little bit better. But you do have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You also get navigation, which is pretty nice. And then you have passenger view. So you can go ahead and spy on the kids in the back. There's a camera back there. So this is my hand right here, and you can see that easily. Passenger talk comes up on the split screen right here. So you can also use passenger talk, which will amplify your voice into the rear seats. So if kids are fighting, they will have no excuse for not hearing you. So I think that is pretty well thought out. Maybe the system in the Pacifica, where you can see the baby's face or whatever in a rear-facing child seats, maybe that would be a little bit better. But this is still pretty good because you can zoom in on individual passengers like you can in the Pacifica. You also have control for your climate. There's voice memos, and then you also have sounds of nature, but I don't know how often people will be using that. The shifter is pretty standard. There is nothing really to complain about here. And when you put the car in reverse, you have a very high resolution 360-degree backup camera. And yes, the parking sensors are making plenty of noise because my tripod is right there. So I think that is pretty good. And then also it shows up in the gauge cluster. You've got many different angles. And then I think this is actually the best 360 camera in the class because the Honda Odyssey doesn't even have one. The Pacifica's is pretty good, but the resolution could be a little bit better, and the Sienna also doesn't have the best resolution. Also, another nice safety feature is that when you turn on your turn signal, there's a little blind spot camera right there. And this actually works better than the normal mirrors because like you can see everywhere around you. And yes, it also has a blind spot monitor. So this car is very good when it comes to your safety. Taking a look up top, you will find a standard sunroof. And then you also have an opening sunroof in the back. So that is also pretty cool. And then I can just open up the sunroof up here. But now let's take a look at the front passenger side. The door panel will be basically the same, except you just don't get the window controls like you do on the driver's side, and the seat will also be pretty much the same with the same real leather, but you only get 4 ways of power adjusting instead of 12. There isn't a center pass-through on the Carnival, so instead you just get a little cubby on each side, and you get more of that 3D printed chrome. The glove box has plenty of space, as it should in a minivan, so you can store anything you want in here. Now let's go ahead and take a look in the back and see what it will be like for your kids back here. Of course, you will get power opening doors, and you can open it from inside the cabin and from outside. And take a look at these seats. This is definitely something that you don't expect in a minivan. These are like my box seats. You get these really squishy headrests, and the seats themselves are really wide, so they're going to be very comfortable. You can manually slide the seat forward and backwards, side to side, and you can power recline and use the power ottoman. There are plenty of amenities in the second row of the Carnival. Almost too many because kids will be fighting over this. There is plenty of legroom, and when you slide the seat all the way back, you get even more legroom. You also have heated and ventilated seats, not really something that you can feel through a car seat, however. You get storage here and more cup holders right here, and if you want to annoy your parents, you can slide the seat forward or recline it. You also get 2 seat back pockets and sunshades. There is a rear entertainment system which has to be optioned on, and you get pre-installed apps like Twitch, YouTube, podcasts, and I think this is a pretty fire infotainment system. Of course, you do have to use the Wi-Fi to get any of this, but I think it's still going to be nice on long road trips. Of course, you can use passenger talk, but you can actually talk back to the front passengers using the intercom up here. That is something that the other manufacturers didn't think of. I hope Kia knows that the back of the minivans are for kids, so why would they put these buttons here? Because you're not going to be driving a celebrity in the back of a minivan, let's be real. But these seats are awesome. We use the seats in our Sienna all the time with the ottomans and the super long side feature. So this is going to be nice on long road trips, but you're going to see all the sacrifices that have to be made.
When you push a button in here,
to get the seat in that position, you're just going to have to hold this button right here to recline the seat all the way back. And then there is another switch down here to make the ottoman come
can extend.
People with longer legs are out of luck because you can't really extend the ottoman, but I guess it's not going to be that big of a deal. And last but certainly not least, you get your own sunroof back here that opens up. Minivans are meant to bring around children, not celebrities, let's be real. So Kia obviously doesn't know that. Getting into the third row is such a pain. You basically have to slide the seat forward manually and basically have the seat crush you as you lean over and have the seats move forward. So this is a demonstration of how I got the seats forward in real life. Like, who is gonna have the time to reach over like this, have the seat crush them, and climb on in and reverse the process? Nobody is going to have that time. So this is where I think they should have called Toyota. But I eventually got into the back here, and it's not bad. The seat back is in plastic, which is good because kids are going to be back here kicking it. And you get nice amenities like cup holders, a little storage area, sunshades, and you also get USB ports. This needs to be thought out better. Now let's take a look at the cargo area because this is very important for a minivan because you'll be hauling around a lot of people and a lot of stuff in this car. I am very happy to say that you will find class-leading figures in almost all configurations. Behind the third row, you get 40.2 cubic feet of cargo room. That is about the same as most extended SUVs, and the Toyota Sienna comes closest to the Carnival in this class at 33.5 cubic feet. But still, the Carnival is better by 6.7 cubic feet. When you fold down the third row, you get 87 cubic feet. The Pacifica beats this by 1 cubic foot, but you can still barely see the difference. When you take out the mid-row, if you don't have the VIP lounge seats, then you will have 145 cubic feet. That is truly impressive for any car, and it amazes me that this Carnival has about the same amount of trunk space as a car that's 2 feet longer than it. But you will have to sacrifice a lot of room if you get the VIP lounge seats, so just keep that in mind. Moving on to the powertrain, let's talk about this for a second because this is actually going in an interesting direction. So for 2024, you get one powertrain, but for the 2025 refresh, you get two. So right now, you get a 3.5-liter naturally aspirated V6. This puts out 290 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. All of that is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and you get pretty good fuel economy at 19 in the city, 26 on the highway, and 22 combined. Now, the power figures for the V6 will actually drop for 2025 by about 3 horsepower and 3 pound-feet of torque, so just keep that in mind. And also, if you want better fuel economy, the 2025 Carnival with the hybrid powertrain is going to give you about 32 miles per gallon. If you really want the best fuel economy out of your minivan, go for the Toyota Sienna because that will deliver 36. So, this is actually not the quickest minivan on the market. Let me explain why. So yes, it is the most powerful at 290 horsepower. That beats the Odyssey by 10 horsepower and the Pacifica by 3 horsepower. But the Odyssey is the lightest out of them all, and it is the most sport-tuned because Honda is Honda, and that's just what they do. So, the Odyssey is technically the fastest one with a 0 to 60 time of 6.5 seconds. And this Carnival is going to be maybe number 2 with a 0 to 60 of about 7.1 seconds. As far as competition is concerned, Kia is actually doing very good in the minivan segment. So this segment in some ways is kind of dying off because people are shifting their attention toward big SUVs. But Kia is still going for it, and they really put a lot of effort into this Carnival. They really want this to be the best minivan ever, and they are on the right path to do that. So in this generation, the 2025 model is going to be the first refresh that this car has gotten, and that's going to bring new styling and a new infotainment system. So make sure to check other videos for that, because the 2025 model is on sale right now. And also, Kia is seeing what other brands are doing. Like, they offered a hybrid like Chrysler and Toyota are doing. And it is rumored that for the next generation, there will be an all-wheel drive model. So I really like how Kia is really putting effort into this car to make it succeed in the minivan lineup, and also just to be a good and desirable car for these families out there. Overall, I'd say that the Carnival scores second place in the minivan segment under the Toyota Sienna, because the Sienna has been the class leader for a long time, and if you compare it head to head, you'll just see that the Sienna is slightly better, but the Carnival is not far off. The Carnival measures in at 203 inches long and about 78 inches wide. Well, that is going to wrap up today's video on this 2024 Kia Carnival SX Prestige. I still think that this is an amazing choice in 2024, and the 2025 model honestly makes it better with the huge styling enhancements. I still think that you should get a lower trim level if you have smaller kids, because having those VIP lounge seats, that's going to cause a lot of hassle when you're trying to load the kids into the car, and also being able to adjust the front passenger seat is not something you want to have when kids are around. Would you buy this car over the Honda Odyssey, Toyota Sienna, and the Chrysler Pacifica? Leave your comments in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.